Hi everyone, and welcome to Stories with A.G. Flitcher. In today's episode, I will be telling you the story of the time my sister and I got lost in a forest on a church hike. We were teenagers at this time. I don't know what ages exactly, but that doesn't really matter. We were, I think, at Mount Cheemus in Hope, BC, Canada. And we are part of this youth group for a Catholic church, a French one that we went every second Sunday in Vancouver. And we weren't being trained on anything, like to be priests or something. There were two, is it sermon? Please correct me if I got that terminology wrong. Anyway, they were there, and the priest was there as well, leading everything. So we get to this trail for Mount Cheemus, and it was supposed to be a total 4-hour hike. 2 hours there, 2 hours back. And there was 2 stops. So we get to the first stop. We have our snacks and stuff, say a few prayers. My sister and I never really engaged in that stuff. It's not that we were disrespectful or immature or anything. It's just when it came to Catholicism and religion in general, we were just attending masses as a form of tradition with our family. And it was just, something we did together. And it's not that we didn't believe in God. It's more the teachings and concept of religion wasn't something that we really bought into. At least that's how I felt. I'm certain that my sister was similar to me. Anyway, this is not going to be about religion. It's just going to cause debate in the comment section, because that's just how YouTube is. Frontier justice. But let's let that be in the background. So we get to the final summit and do the same thing again. Have our pit stops and snacks and a few more prayers. And then, for some reason, before we decided to leave, part of the group decided to go ahead of us. And we didn't know that, because some kid, I think, came back to us saying, "Hey, I can't find the rest of our group. I don't know where they went." So we start to make our way back, and we kept looking for the others, but we couldn't find them. We ended up on this returning path that we didn't go on before, because we tried to retrace our steps, but everything looked the same. So we did our best to go back, but we ended up on this professional hiking trail that was meant for mountain climbers. So there was these ropes and stuff, and we didn't recognize that part of the trail. So because we didn't want to exhaust ourselves, we stopped for an hour or two trying to look at certain areas. And I don't know what it was about my age back then or who I was at that time, but apparently I said something offensive to a girl. I don't know if it was me calling her fat or names or something, but it was so bad that this other girl dumped ice cold water on me. And of course I felt shame and everything, and I don't know, it was just something dumb I did as a teenager that I don't quite remember what I did. And if you're watching, I apologize for whatever I said or did. Anyway, at a certain point, when we were close to the starting point, my sister and I were kind of not separate from the group, just in pairs, separate from in terms of distance from the others. So we were, scared, and it was dark by this time. It had almost been 8 hours that we were in the forest. And because we were kind of disoriented and just kind of turned around of where we were, things started to play tricks on our heads. For example, this huge black dog just strolls past us, and he was so big, and I think it was like a black, golden black lab, I think. We thought he was a bear, so we both was, ah, bear, ah! But it was just a freaking dog. And then, no gap in between, a freaking squirrel just goes, ee, and then up a tree, right in between us, and then up the tree that we were just passing by. We were just like, what the hell is going on here? So we get past that, and then even though we thought we were, back on track, the decline was so steep that my sister and I were literally crawling back to the parking lot, because the decline of the path that we took was so steep that we had to hold on to roots and stuff, and we didn't recognize any of the trees around us, and the ground was extremely topsy-turvy, and it was almost like being in Harry Potter, where the forest would just, it didn't really feel the same when the light, the daylight was gone. So it was just nuts. So that's pretty much it. Now, I'm not gonna talk about religion, okay? Like I said before, because this was just an adventure story. If whatever comments I said at the beginning offended any of you, I apologize. I'm just telling a story, and I hope that you understand that. Now, as for what this story inspired for one of my books, this was actually in book 3 of Boone and Jack, Saddleton Haunting. Because there's this forest scene where there's sandbox trees and pine trees, birch, different kinds of trees, and the environment is always changing. And that's where I got the idea from, is from this church hike, because the forest looked the same in the daylight, but at sundown, completely different, because first off, it was our first time there, and we didn't really take the time to familiarize ourselves with our environment. So if you do end up reading book 3, you'll notice that the pathway to a cabin was easy for Jacques to lead his group, but on the way back he actually had to count trees to remember the fork, because the path was pretty linear, or at least familiar enough for him to memorize the pathway to the cabin, but the pathway back to the car was different. And they actually had to take a different path to get to where they first came from. So, yeah. Okay. That was episode 3. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day, and happy reading. Bye-bye.